What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Buzz. Alex Volkanovski recently shared his expert breakdown of the upcoming clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, offering crucial advice to the Australian striker. Volkanovski began by praising Makhachev's exceptional fight IQ, describing him as an athlete whose reactions are purely instinctive. The guy just knows what to do, Volkanovski explained. He's been in those positions so many times that his body automatically adjusts. His awareness, timing, and composure come naturally. That's what makes him different from everyone else. However, Volkanovski also gave credit to Jack Della Maddalena for his impressive scrambling ability and ground transitions, acknowledging that for a striker, JDM's movement and composure on the mat are elite. Still, he made it clear that Islam Makhachev operates on a completely different level. Volkanovski warned Jack not to get overconfident with his grappling and to focus on keeping the fight standing as much as possible. Jack's great on the ground, Volkanovski said, but we don't want it to go there. Even though Jack's good, that's Islam's world. He's been wrestling since he could walk. That's what these guys from Dagestan do every single day. Volkanovski advised Jack to stay urgent in the scrambles, use his weight effectively, and try to wear Islam down through constant movement and resistance. He pointed out that when he himself fought Makhachev, the small scrambles and pressure exchanges helped him tire Islam out, even if just slightly. He continued, Jack can do the same if he stays active, but if he becomes complacent in the wrestling or waits until he's on his back to build up, he's not going to tire Islam. Jack has to make a stand early, be stubborn on the feet, stubborn in the wrestling, and if it goes down, fight immediately to build himself back up. Volkanovski emphasized that Jack's grappling skills are strong enough to survive, but the key to victory lies in preventing Makhachev from dictating where the fight takes place. In true sportsmanlike fashion, Islam Makhachev responded with respect, calling Volkanovski a crazy warrior and one of the greatest fighters of all time, praising his relentless pace and championship mindset. Their mutual respect continues to highlight the class and professionalism both fighters embody. Two elite athletes built differently, yet united by their warrior spirit. Move on to another news. Jon Jones has officially arrived in New York, but this visit isn't just for media duties. It's for something far more intriguing. Multiple MMA outlets, along with confirmation from Jones' longtime Russian training partner, Rustam Khabilov, have reported that the former light heavyweight and current heavyweight champion will be joining Islam and Khabib for a few intense training sessions ahead of UFC 322. This collaboration marks a powerful reunion between some of the most dominant minds in modern MMA. While Jones has trained with many international athletes over the years, this will be his first time directly working alongside Team Khabib at their own facility. Interestingly, this isn't Jones' first connection with Dagestan. Years ago, he traveled there to visit local gyms, host seminars, and train with up-and-coming fighters. At that time, Islam and Khabib were still rising talents, but now they're global icons, and Jones' visit feels like a full-circle moment. Rustam Khabilov, who trained with Jones for years at Jackson Wink MMA and is himself a proud Dagestani, confirmed the news in an interview with Russian media outlet Vestnik Eminatatics. John is already flying over here, Khabib said. We've been talking about this visit for a long time, and finally, the time has come. He'll train with the Dagestani guys again and get some solid sessions in with the boys. When asked whether Islam Makhachev and Khabib would both be present during Jonas' visit, Khabilov didn't hesitate. Of course, everybody will be here, he confirmed, signaling that this gathering will feature three of the most respected champions in MMA history under one roof. What makes this collaboration even more significant is the deep connection between their camps. Javier Mendez, head coach of Team Khabib at the American Kickboxing Academy, has long-standing ties to fighters who previously trained at Jackson Wink, the same gym that molded Jon Jones into one of the greatest fighters of all time. This shared lineage creates a rare bridge between two legendary MMA schools known for producing champions. Fans are already buzzing with excitement at the possibility of training footage emerging from this powerful meetup. Seeing Jon Jones sparring, grappling, or exchanging ideas with Islam and Khabib would be a dream moment for MMA enthusiasts around the world. A true collision of greatness, experience, and fighting intellect. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev has made it clear that his next fight isn't just about defending his title, it's personal. In a recent appearance on Main Event, the lightweight champion revealed that his mission goes beyond championships and rankings. He wants revenge for his Dagestani teammate Ramazan Emiev, who was defeated by Jack Della Maddalena. Makhachev said this upcoming bout is a chance to settle that score and represent his team's pride on the biggest stage. When asked about Jack Della Maddalena's recent partnership with grappling expert Craig Jones, Islam didn't seem concerned. He confidently dismissed the idea that short-term training could close the gap in skill. You can't just bring someone in for a few months and expect to become a grappling expert, he said. It takes years Years of hard work and elite preparation to reach this level. That's what separates real champions from everyone else. He compared the situation to other fighters like Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis, pointing out that temporary fixes don't work when facing seasoned athletes who've spent their lives mastering the craft. Makhachev emphasized that his system, built on consistency, discipline, and decades of wrestling experience, can't be replicated overnight. The Dagestani champion also addressed the pound-for-pound rankings, making it clear he doesn't care much for them. "I don't believe in those rankings," he said. "They're made up by random people. I can control what happens inside the cage, becoming champion, defending my belt, but I can't control how people make rankings, so I don't waste energy on that." During the interview, Islam was reminded of Jack Della Maddalena's comments after his last fight, where Jack vowed to beat Islam as payback for Makhachev's dominant win over Alexander Volkanovski. When asked about that, Islam simply smiled and responded, "He will try, man, but I also have my reason. Jack beat one of my Dagestani brothers, Ramazan, so if he wants to give revenge for Volkanovski, he'll take revenge for Ramazan." Still, Makhachev clarified that revenge alone doesn't drive him. His true motivation lies in chasing greatness and making history. "What motivates me," he said, "is to become a double champion, to write my second book, to make my legacy bigger." Move on to another news. Bryce Mitchell has once again made headlines, this time for calling out Sean O'Malley for a potential showdown at the much-anticipated UFC White House event. In a recent interview with Helen Yee, Mitchell opened up about his recent nose injury, his recovery timeline, and his dream fight moving forward. Just last week, it was reported that Bryce had broken his nose, and instead of getting professional medical treatment, asked one of his friends to fix it for him, a decision he now admits was a mistake. "Yeah, I messed up," Bryce said, reflecting on the situation. "Hunter Campbell called me the next day and told me I should have just informed them. The UFC would have taken care of it." Mitchell went on to explain that he now needs at least a month to fully recover from the injury before resuming training. Despite the setback, Mitchell's focus remains sharp, and he has one specific name in mind for a future opponent. The best matchup they could possibly make would be City Boy versus Country Boy, O'Malley versus Mitchell, he said confidently. "That's the biggest fight I could have in my career." Mitchell, known for his grit and no-nonsense country persona, believes his clash with O'Malley would represent more than just another fight. It would be a stylistic and cultural showdown that captures the imagination of fans. While he recognizes that he still has ground to cover in the featherweight division and expects the UFC to match him with a lower-ranked opponent next, Bryce remains optimistic that a bout with the flashy bantamweight champion is only a matter of time. "I know I've got more work to do," he admitted. "They'll probably pair me with someone around the top 20 and that's fine. But in a couple of years, I'll be right there with the best of the best. I'm only 31, and I see myself competing with the top guys in the division soon, the biggest names and the best fighters at 135. Mitchell also praised O'Malley's skill set, calling him a legitimate threat in the division. "If anybody was me and looked at the lineup, they'd take O'Malley seriously," he said. "He's very good, and that's exactly why I want that fight." The prospect of City Boy versus Country Boy, Sean O'Malley's flair and precision against Bryce Mitchell's grit and grappling, would undoubtedly draw massive attention from fans and media alike. Move on to another news. Dana White is facing major backlash from the MMA community after recent footage surfaced of him claiming that money ruins everything in the fight business. In the clip, Dana stated that he never wanted to make the Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor boxing match, arguing that once fighters earn massive paydays, their motivation to compete fades. "Money ruins everything," Dana said. "Once you get too much money involved, it changes things. Conor made so much money, and that was it. Khabib made a lot of money, and that was it. I fought against making that fight for so long, but the fans wanted it so bad that we ended up doing it. It was awesome. The world tour, the energy, everything. But I really think it changed things after." While Dana described the Mayweather-McGregor crossover as fun, many in the MMA world strongly disagreed with his take, arguing that his comments reveal a deeper issue: how the UFC treats fighter pay. Fighters and fans quickly called him out, saying his logic doesn't apply to legends like Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, or Canelo Alvarez, who remained driven and competitive despite their wealth. Former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling was one of the first to respond. He wrote, "I know I'd keep fighting if it meant making more money. The pain, suffering, and glory are all for the payoff. Even mid-tier fighters want that." Indirectly, money. He's saying he doesn't want fighters getting rich because they'd fight less. That's not true. Floyd, Manny, Canelo, all of them are proof. Sterling continued, Conor didn't stop fighting because of money, and it's funny how Dana's fine making millions off fighters' backs, while complaining they earn too much. If you want to see the best of the best fight, treat them like it. He didn't stop there. Sterling blasted the UFC pay structure, calling it ridiculous that some fighters still earn 12-8 to show and 12-8 to win. Half that goes to gyms, managers, and expenses, he said. Meanwhile, Dana's making more than anyone and gambling at casinos. Fighters risk their lives every time they step in that cage. At least raise the pay. Other fans and fighters echoed those sentiments, arguing that Khabib Nurmagomedov's retirement had nothing to do with money, as Dana implied. Khabib walked away because of his promise to his mother and the loss of his father, not cash, one comment read. Saying otherwise is disrespectful. Speech generated by Verbatic.com. Move on to another news. Bo Nickal has finally broken his silence ahead of UFC 322, responding to the wave of criticism that has followed him since his loss to Reinier de Ridder earlier this year. Once considered one of MMA's brightest prospects, Bo has faced heavy backlash from fans who claim he doesn't take his MMA career seriously. After his defeat, he was removed from the main card and moved to the prelims, a decision many in the MMA community said was justified. Now the former wrestling prodigy is addressing his critics head-on. Surprisingly, Bo isn't outright denying the claims. Instead, he admits there might be some truth to what people are saying. Anytime there's criticism, he said, you can either take it personally and let it hit your ego, or you can analyze it and try to look at it unbiased. I feel like a lot of the stuff people say, there's some truth to it. Maybe not the full story, but there's always a bit of reality behind every opinion. Despite acknowledging the criticism, Bo remains confident and unfazed. At the end of the day, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it, he continued. Nobody's going to tell me what to do or how to do it. I'll make my own decisions and do what's best for me personally. Nickal made it clear that he doesn't see his critics as enemies, but rather as voices offering different perspectives. I don't approach what they say with malice or think they're attacking me, he explained. It's not me against them. I just try to observe it in an unbiased way and see if there's something I can learn from it. Maybe there's some truth there, maybe not, but I'll always stay focused on improving. His comments show a level of maturity and self-awareness that fans may not have expected, especially after the backlash he's received. The once hyped star now finds himself with a point to prove, and UFC 322 could be the moment that defines whether Bo Nickal truly belongs among Aman's elite or was simply overhyped too soon. The question remains, does Bo Nickal deserve the criticism he's faced, or will he silence the doubters and rise back to contention? Fans are divided, but one thing is certain, all eyes will be on him when he steps back into the octagon. Speech generated by Verbatic.com. Move on to another news. Valentina Shevchenko has finally explained why she decided to publicly defend Joe Rogan after Ronda Rousey's recent criticism of the longtime UFC commentator. Rousey had made headlines for calling Rogan not an expert, claiming he was simply a fan with a big audience who never competed professionally. Her comments sparked a wave of debate across the MMA community, and it didn't take long for Shevchenko to step in with her own perspective. In a post on social media, Valentina praised Rogan, describing him as a huge expert of martial arts, a noble man, hunter, sportsman, and a good example for youth. Her defense of Rogan quickly caught attention, especially since many fans and fighters were divided over Ronda's harsh remarks. Joe Rogan himself, true to his calm and balanced demeanor, responded without hostility. He said he understood why Rousey felt that way, acknowledging her championship mindset. When she said I wasn't an expert, that's her opinion, Rogan explained. You've got to understand where she's coming from. She's a champion, she's competed at the highest level. If you've never fought, I get why she might think that. It's not terrible, it's just her perspective. Following Rogan's response, Shevchenko was asked about her defense during UFC 322's Media Day, where she elaborated on why she felt compelled to speak up. I'm always for justice, Valentina began. I like Ronda, she's a great champion, and I really admire her lifestyle, how she's close to nature and animals, living on a farm and being true to herself. But in this particular case, I felt what she said wasn't right. Shevchenko went on to highlight Rogan's deep contributions to martial arts and his impact on the sport beyond commentary. Joe Rogan is a true example for the youth, she continued. He's a real martial artist with a lot of knowledge. He's successful, talented, and an inspiration, not just in MMA but in many areas of life. He's also a musician, a thinker, and someone who has helped grow the sport through his passion and intelligence. So when I heard something that didn't seem fair, I felt it was important to speak out. When there's no justice, something just feels wrong. When there's no justice, something just feels wrong. Valentina's comments reflect her respect for both Ronda Rousey and Joe Rogan, but also her belief in fairness and acknowledgement acknowledgement of those who've contributed to the martial arts world in their own unique way. Speech generated by Verbatic.com.